Northern Paiute language. Lesson 18. Yesh. Paiuticizing place names. Now, many people are against Paiuticizing words, but I'm not. So we're just going to go ahead and learn it anyway. And you can choose for yourself if you want to Paiuticize words or not. Talking about Hanote'e. Hanote'e. Of which place are you of? What if there is no traditional name for the place where I am from? What if my place is far beyond Aboriginal Paiute country or Numuripa and I've moved on in life? Then you simply Paiuticize it. Paiuticize it. So Paiuticize is getting the English word and making it sound like a Paiute word. Old people did that all the time. So example of a traditional place name being Paiuticized. So let's do some local ones first. Hanuya. Yate Hanno. Yate Hanno. This is Pitanaguat. Pitanaguat. Bishop area, Owens Valley, Pitanaguat. So Pitanaguat. Pita means of or relating to the south. Nagua, these get put together for the place or direction of the south. Pitanagua. Then te, which means place. So it means the southern place. This we do not pronounce it Pitanaguate. It's not Pitanaguate. That is incorrect. It's Pitanaguate. There's no gwe, nagua, two different words. Bishop, Owens Valley area. So when we Paiuticize, though, the area of Bishop, we call it Bishop, 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 Bishop. And that's because the Indians back in the old days, they don't say bishop, they say Bishop. That's called Paiuticizing. Yate Hanno, Hanno. Urittiribawait, Urittiribawait. Which means the hot water place. As an adjective, is hot, but when you're using it as an adjective to describe a noun. The hot water place, the place of the hot water, which is the Benton area. Okay? But when we Paiuticize the word Benton, they say Piatin, Piatin, Piatin. So Yate, Piatin, Piatin. That's what we call Paiuticizing. So Bridgeport, traditionally we call Pogait, Pogait, Pogait. Now they Paiuticize Bridgeport and they say Bitsipure, Bitsipure. Some say Bridgeport. You can Paiuticize it however you want to, but Bitsipure. Okay, like Reno, its traditional name is Tusigate, Tusigate. Oh, hardcore Paiute country, all the way up the Truckee River, Tusigate. Now we Paiuticize it many times and say Urino, Urino, because there's no R sound in Paiute. So you just say Urino, Urino. Okay, now Carson City area has multiple names. Sometimes it was referred to as Totoi, same as Carson Valley, Totoi. And that's because of it's like just a big swamp, big marsh area. But it was also called Pamo, Pamo on the northern end, because that's where a lot of the Paiutes lived around the hot springs there. And it could also be referred to as Kaiba Bidamit, Kaiba Bidamit, because Carson, the Eagle Valley, Carson City area is on the foot of the mountain, Kaiba Bidamit, the place of the lower part of the mountain. But a lot of times we just Paiuticize it and call it Carson, Carson, Carson. Okay, so Carson Valley. Now this is the big valley where Gardnerville is and Genoa. And so it's also referred to as Totoi, Totoi, because it was just a big marsh area, especially in the southern area, the northern area of that valley. And that's where many Paiutes lived. Now there was a large settlement of Paiutes over when they took the census in 1859, it said that there was a group of Paiutes under the leadership of Captain Joaquin, and that they lived at the forks of the Carson River. Now that's over there close to Genoa. And the name for that area, the Paiutes call it Wobidabate, Wobidabate, Wobidabate. And we also read in Sarah Winnemucca's book that they also stayed over there by Genoa. All Paiute area over there, borders Washoe, but it's Paiutes always considered it their territory. So Carson Valley, well, Gardnerville. So Washoe land is like from Gardnerville and then going south up toward Markleyville. So South Gardnerville area, they called Washiowete, Washiowete, because that's the area of the Washoes. That's where the Paiutes allowed the Washoes to stay and didn't really bother them in those areas. But they didn't really care for Washoes coming around and over there by Genoa or Carson City or Washoe Lake or Reno. Good thing to keep in mind now, history lesson. Gardnerville, you could Paiuticize it, and they just call it Carnavid, Carnavid, Carnavid. But it is always best practice to call places by their traditional Paiute name, but it's just not a rule. No one's going to get docked down because they don't do that, because we live in a crazy world nowadays. So talking about Paiuticizing still, if you want to say, so someone's from Fresno, Fresno Wete, Fresno Wete, Fresno Wete. You can just say it like English and add a Wete on the end. Sacramento would be Sacramento Wete, Sacramento Wete. Urington, some will say Yaington, Yaington. Or LA, could say Ereowate, 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 or LA-awate. Las Vegas, you could simply say Las Vegas-awate, Las Vegas-awate. So, but all Numu Unin, Unin means words, that which is said. All Paiute words end in a vowel sound. Okay, they have to end in a vowel sound, even if it is a diminished vowel sound. So sometimes it doesn't sound like it's ending in a vowel because it's just like a little breath going out, little, but there's still a vowel there. So therefore, when we Paiuticize English words, they will all be made to end in an ah sound. They have to end in some kind of a vowel sound. This is the same rule with names. So a lot of times in Numu, they add an ah to the end of English words, even when the English word ends in a vowel sound, just because they have to really scrub it up a little bit with Numu Unin to make it correct. So some examples for names, like when we talk about Bob, they actually say Bob, Bob minanier, Bob, they put an ah on the end. Jan in English would be Jan, Jan, they put a on the end. Or Jim would be Jim, 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 Jim minanier. Or Sally, even though Sally ends in a vowel sound, E, Salia, Salia minania. Sometimes you don't have to add that ah because of the Sali there, but a lot of times it gets added anyway. Probably best practice just to throw an ah on every English word. But so like Agaiwait, the area where they call Shurs now. Shurs is not its real name, it's Agai. But if you want to refer to Shurs, you say Shurs await. Shurs await. Hanote, Shurs await. Whereabouts are you from? Place of Shurs. Or Mono Lake, which is Kudzavigwait. They might just say Mono Lake await. Mono Lake await. Or Big Pine. They might say Big Pine await. Big Pine await. So this is how you Paiuticize these place names. Yesh. Let's put these two questions together. Hayu nania and hanote. Hayu nania, what are you called? And hanote, which place are you of? So examples, number one, New Johnny minania, Texas awede. New Johnny minania, Texas awede. That means I am called Johnny and I am of Texas. Number two, New Wilma minania, New York awede. New Wilma minania, New York awete. Just saying, I am called Wilma, and I am from New York, or of New York. Number 3, New Jaco minania, Mariposa awete. Mariposa awete. Either or on that one. New Jaco minania, Mariposa awete. That's saying, I am called Jaco, and I am of Mariposa. Nu Sally minania, Bori awete. Nu Sally minania, Bori awete, which means I am called Sally, and I am of Bodhi. So now we can more accurately introduce ourselves. What is your name? Hayu nania, and where are you of? Hanote. Nu Joseph minania, Bitzipura wete. Nu Joseph minania, Bitzipura wete. Which means I am called Joseph, and I am of Bridgeport. That's Paiuticized, but Pogawete, Midu was. Pogawete, Midu was. Midu was means you can also say it this way, Bitsipurawete, or Pogawete. Matno. End of lesson 18.